In the shadow of Mount Shasta, two small towns share a reputation for racing. One built a speedway, while the other produced a champion. Tonight, the K&N Pro Series West carries on two Northern California legacies. Fairgrounds racing is an American tradition. Alex Schutty knows that. He grew up near the Shasta District Fair. 16-year-old championship leader Noah Gregson, sure, he hopes it's a fun house tonight. Idaho's Brett Thompson is all business, looking for his first win of the 2015 season. Welcome to race number 5 for the 2015 K&N Pro Series West. It's the Bill Schmitt Memorial 150, presented by Lithia Toyota and Napa Auto Parts. Dave Burns with you, Parker Kligerman alongside. We'll catch up with Heather DeBow in a few moments. Hard to beat this setting for racing. It's a warm May day, perfect weather for some extra grip in those Goodyear tires. Today we are west, we are north. It'll take you a couple of hours to get here from Sacramento to Anderson, California. But the return of the K&N Pro Series is the right reason to go. The championship race, another good reason. 4 drivers within 12 points at the top, Parker.
Brandon McReynolds there at 10th, only 32 points out of the lead. This whole top 10 is so tight in the K&N Pro Series West.
Tonight's race is named in honor of a 4-time K&N Pro Series champion who passed away in November at the age of 78. This track and his competitors tell a lot about the man. Heather DeBow has more.
Shasta Speedway has been around for a long time, dating back to the 1940s when the original racing surface was dirt. It was paved in 1972 and held 12 K&N West races from 1976 to 1993. After a 22-year absence, the K&N West Series returns tonight while also remembering one of its greatest competitors. Bill Schmitt, who tonight's race is in memory of, won 2 races here at Shasta Speedway and led all drivers with 5 poles, laps completed, and laps led. He was well respected throughout the garage and from many of his competitors.
Bill Schmitt was a heck of a competitor, raced a lot longer than I did, and a lot more success than I had, so I always looked up to him when we were racing together, and he'd always give me advice. Just a good guy, very competitive, and that's what I liked, because I felt like I was pretty competitive also. So it was fun times. It's great to be back here in his home track.
Such a legend for the NASCAR K&N series back when we used to have to qualify for cup races to race for a points championship. I remember him getting a 10th place finish at Sonoma when I was first starting out in this. And he was somebody that we always looked up to and wanted to be like. And it's great to be here tonight and have this race be in memory of Bill Schmitt.
Bill Schmitt is a 4-time K&N West Series champion, and he was one of the most popular drivers of his generation.
Dave, that's really interesting to me as a young driver. As I came in the sport, I wanted to do 2 things. I wanted to win races, and I want to be respected when it's all over. Bill Schmitt obviously has that from his peers.
Bill survived by his wife, Sylvia, getting a checkered flag there, signed by all of the current-day K&N Pro Series West drivers, and I'm sure that's something she'll treasure from tonight's event. Speaking of well-liked, respected, and super quick, let's look at tonight's next generation.
I'm Brandon McReynolds. I'm 23 years old. I'm from Mooresville, North Carolina, and I'm racing in the K&N West for Bill McAnally Racing. Probably some of my fondest memories of growing up at the racetrack, spending time with my dad, understanding what he did for a living, and seeing him have success. Probably the coolest memory was him winning the Daytona 500 with Dale Earnhardt back in '98. There's definitely a lot of kids out there that their dads either drive or are in racing, and they don't want to go racing. So I think you got to have the drive and the will to roll up your sleeves and want to do it, and I definitely feel like I have that. I think there's a little bit of added pressure, knowing that my dad's had so much success in the sport, but at the same time, I put more pressure on myself than anyone else, so I think it all kind of works out in the end. This year, we just got to win some races. Last year, we were so close so many times, and it's kind of aggravating. A lot of shoulda, woulda, couldas, but this year, we got to roll up our sleeves, work hard, and keep focused, and go out there and just get the job done.
Dave, I agree with him there. He has to stay focused. He needs to get the job done, which he did at Iowa last time we saw him race. He went out there and won his first race here in the series, but he's got to do that time and time again and get up there in that championship and hopefully put himself in position for those cup teams to be looking at him.
Brandon McReynolds will start on the outside of row 2 tonight. There's the whole field of 24 lined up. Who got the pole tonight? Heather DeBow knows.
David, you were the fastest in practice today. You were the second car out in qualifying. Talk about your qualifying run and how your car is for tonight's race.
Practice today went pretty good. Made a lot of changes from last night to today, and it really paid off. We were probably the last ones here in the pits last night. Corey and Craig, all the guys did an awesome job. going out second, we really didn't think we had something for it, and just got some luck on our side and had a good lap, and really think we got a good car for tonight.
Now, what do you think is going to be the most challenging aspect to this race for you and the other drivers?
Definitely lappers are going to come into play. It's a real single-lane track down on the bottom, and just keeping your nose clean till those last 25 laps and getting yourself in the position to win the thing.
That's David Mayhew with his 12th career pole and his first of the season.
One thing to note tonight for Dave Mayhew in getting that pole is as crew chief is the K&N Pro Series East winner, Corey LaJoie.
He's got a teammate in the field tonight as well, Johnny White, who also had a very good qualifying experience in his 31 car. We'll keep an eye on those teammates. Cars rolling, getting set for the Bill Schmitt Memorial 150 here at the Shasta Speedway. Northern California stock car racing. And it should be a good one tonight. Dave Burns and Parker Kligerman joining you. Heather DeBow is patrolling pit road on this 3/8 mile track, Parker.
Yeah, and it has 14 degrees of banking. Really, a moderate amount of banking, but good for a short track like this. Hopefully we see that outside groove come in tonight.
A lot of good stories in the field. Heather DeBow has another.
Native Alex Schutty is the driver you want to keep your eye on. He got his start in racing at Shasta Car Club in go-karts at the age of 6 years old. He also won many races and championships in other divisions such as Formula Ford and USAC Midgets. When I spoke to him earlier, he said he's excited to race here at his home track, and he's in front of his friends and family, which makes it even better. Now he's coming off of his best finish of 6th at Iowa, and he will also be starting 6th tonight.
Good starting position for Alex there, and also in front of his home crowd, a little bit of pressure, but he's got a lot of experience here tonight, so hopefully have a good run.
Let's take a look at the entire starting grid. We talked to the pole sitter, David Mayhew. Buddy Shepard starting third. That's the same car that Dustin Ash drove to a third-place finish recently at Tucson.
We got Brandon Reynolds there in fourth, our winner from Iowa, and also our championship leader, Noah Gregson, starting 10th.
Second page there, you see Nicole Behar starting inside of row 6, and Brett Thompson, we saw him earlier, he'll start outside of row 7. And finally on the grid, the 30 of Ron Norman had problems in practice. He's in a backup car, not sure what he'll be able to get done tonight, but certainly not in the car that he was hoping to start the race with. The field is formed up behind the pace car, 150 laps the distance here tonight. They will not have a halfway break. The pole sitter Mayhew brings James Bickford and the rest of the field to the green. And a good jump for Mayhew.
Really good jump there on the bottom, making it work. You see him just hugging that inside. I'm really interested to see how James Bickford is able to use that outside line and slot into second there.
He falls in right behind Mayhew, the second row, still side by side. Shepard on the inside of the 55, Mick Reynolds to his outside.
Once again, I'm looking at that outside line, Mick Reynolds out there. Ooh, there's a huge bump there in turn 3 that these drivers have been talking about in practice all day. They've said it's really aggressive, it's really hard to get over, but if you do it right, you can be fast.
Buddy Shepard just found it. That car leaped in the air, and Mick Reynolds is going to move through easily to third.
Yeah, really impressive move around the outside. I think that outside line is really coming in well.
Fifth place now to the 99 of Chris Eggleston, former winner so far this year. And behind them, a battle for 7th between Partridge and Raz.
Yeah, we'll see here how Partridge is able to kind of slot in right in front of that third. Ooh, gets in the 27. That's that a little bit of a combination of that bump, trying to slot in and waiting too long to get on the brakes, which you can find yourself in position they were. The caution's out.
Now, they didn't bring out the caution. Something else has, and as we get a look around the Shasta Speedway, we see there the 11 of Thomas Martin stop. There's Jack Sellers. He's got the big problem, damage to that left front.
Yeah, that's got the fenders all pushed in. It's not moving, and when that left front isn't rotating, you've got a really big suspension problem.
So Sellers will take the car off the track into the garage area. That's Matt Levine in the 14. He is around as well, and he's got damage. So Norman Levine Racing, not a good start to their night. Ron Norman with motor problems, started in the rear with a backup car, and now his teammate, Matt Levine, has got damage.
Yeah, and this damage actually looks a little bit more cosmetic, although we've seen a couple things dragging down there. It'll be interesting to see if they can pull some of that bodywork out and maybe continue tonight, but it's not looking good for them here tonight.
He'll have to go off for some repairs as the 14 of Levine will rejoin, and Rich DeLong has damage to the front end of his 84 car.
And as long as they didn't get into the radiator there with the bodywork being pushed in, he actually looks like he'll be fine. This place isn't very hard on aerodynamics. You don't need them per se, so I think he should be able to continue tonight.
So, Parker, the initial start, Mayhew jumps out. James Bickford gets into line behind him, and they form single file, but the outside line looked like it may have had a little grip in it.
Yeah, it looks like it works for the first couple laps. Brandon McReynolds was able to slot into third on the outside line. Let's see how he's able to use that bottom line on this restart.
That's right, Buddy Shepard in that 55. He started on the inside. Now he has to restart on the outside. Let's see if he can get it done as the field comes back to the green here at Shasta. And a better start for Bickford.
Definitely a really good start. He's holding on the outside there. Mayhew, really impressive start by him. I think he almost beat Mayhew to the line a little bit.
Side by side, Mayhew's going to nudge coming off the corner. They're still neck and neck going into one.
And that's what you got to do in Mayhew's position. You're going to make your car as wide as possible. Just shove it out, maybe half a groove out, and hope that Bickford doesn't have the grip when that half a groove out there, and you take the lead like you just did.
Better grip off of turn number 2 for Mayhew. He's now the leader once again. Bickford falls into second. McReynolds with a challenge in third.
Yeah, he's just trying to kind of stick his nose in there, let him know he's there, get a spotter to stay inside, spook him a little bit, maybe take the position.
This track a few years back was a quarter mile. Then they spread it out to 3/8 of a mile. It's really been good for racing. The fans here locally have loved it. And the K&N Pro Series, after a 22-year absence, is back to take the Touring Series to this welcoming crowd.
Yeah, I really like this racetrack. It's got a lot of character, especially that bump into 3. You see them having a little bit of undulation off the corners, which can really affect your drive off. I like what I'm seeing out of this racetrack, and I really am liking what I'm seeing out of that second groove on the top.
Championship leader Noah Gregson in the 7. He started 10th. This is the battle for 9th. He's trying to take it from Grayson Raz.
Yeah, and that Grayson Raz is having a great run on the outside there. You see him beat him into 3, being able to roll a little bit more speed, and that's what you have to do. You have to roll a bit more speed, be able to get to the throttle confidently, and hopefully beat him up off the corner.
They're still side by side battling for this position. Good short track racing.
Absolutely. This is awesome. This is what you want to see. 2 evenly matched cars side by side, using both lanes effectively. This is really bringing that outside line in well and putting the rubber down, and maybe even able to make the pass out there right here.
Behind them, the 33 of Nicole Bihar, the Washington State driver, looking for a place to go.
Yeah, and her position right there, you just have to kind of stay patient, ride behind these 2, see which line is really going to make the headway. And in this position, it's tough because those 2 are so evenly matched. You can get impatient, but it's early in the race. Let them sort it out, and I'm assuming she'll probably go with the 7 car there on the bottom eventually and move forward.
And don't forget, the championship leader is Gregson in the 7. He only had a 4-point lead on second place Chris Eggleston coming into the 9.
And cooler heads prevailed here, letting the 27 finally go around on the outside. You can battle and feel out your race car and feel out how you might be able to pass later in the race, but in his position, he needs to be smart, protect his race car, and get a good finish out tonight.
Up front, it is still all David Mayhew, except, of course, if you're James Bickford pursuing that 17 car. We'll be back with more here at Shasta. We're just underway at Shasta Speedway. It's the Bill Schmitt Memorial 150 presented by Lithia Toyota and Napa Auto Parts. 150 laps around this 3/8 mile oval. And hometown boy Alex Shuddy trying to hold off Nicole Bihar.
He's doing a good job of it right here. This is what we're seeing out of these 2, is that they're very evenly matched once again. They're both on the bottom, not really able to use that outside line right now. Ooh, get a little loose there for Alex, and that's the kind of thing where Nicole in her position, when she sees that, she might need to just get into a little bit, show her nose, get that spotter to stay inside, and go on with the pass.
Battling for 9th, while nothing has changed up front, David Mayhew is still the race leader. He's led from the drop of the green flag. This is some good racing back in the pack.
Yeah, I saw Nicole actually get a little timid there, getting to Alex's rear bumper. She got up to his rear bumper and didn't even want to hit him, it looked like. She's being smart about her race, protecting her race car. And in this position, only 61 laps in, that's not a bad thing to do.
Nicole's had a couple of very good runs so far this year. The short tracks, of course, where most of these drivers get their development, and her story is no exception. Her first full year in the K&N Pro Series, trying to make a statement.
Absolutely, and doing smart things like this, riding in the top 10, being there, maybe using the outside line there, I see a little bit, trying to find where she can find some grip, get a little bit of an edge on the 21 car, and hopefully get around. And definitely as we run into lappers here, being smart with those lappers and maybe using one of them as a pick to get by Alex will be her chance to get in the 9th.
And that's something we've seen Nicole work on this year. Late in the going at Irwindale, she found a line and challenged for the win near the end of the race. So having a good rookie season.
That's a smart race car driver. When you're out there searching for grip, searching for ways to make your race car better, but besides just driving it differently, but out there finding different lines, that's when you have a race car driver that's forward-thinking, that's proactive, and you want to see that in their development.
It's a 2-car breakaway now. The leader's working lap traffic. David Mayhew is the 17 car. That's 6 for Sunrise Ford Racing. That's James Bickford, cousin to Jeff Gordon, as many of you know. He's got some good experience so far and is having a good rookie season in the K&N Pro Series West.
What I'm seeing out of Bickford right now is he's able to stay intact with Mayhew really well. Although maybe the lappers here will kind of cause a little bit of a corny effect falling back. He's able to stay there and be right on his bumper, putting pressure on Mayhew, and that makes Mayhew drive a little harder and maybe wear out his equipment. So you see Shepard and White here side by side.
That's the battle for 5th, and as they race there, the caution comes out, and we see Rod Nealon has spun the 68 down to the infield grass. Nealon started shotgun on the field tonight, so he's been making his way from the back of the pack. Somehow got caught out here early on in the Bill Schmitt Memorial 150.
Might be having a little trouble getting it restarted here. We see that puncture there in the right front headlight, which can definitely be a sign of getting into someone's rear bumper and puncturing in there, which isn't a bad thing. It's not a bad amount of damage for a short track like this if you can get it restarted. Oh, and we are restarted there.
So Nealon gets the 68 car moving, and we will take a look at a replay to see what happened to him on this track. Damage to the right front, but looks like maybe someone else sent him a message. That's Thomas Martin behind him, top of the screen, and he sends him around.
Yeah, a little bit of a discussion about the real estate on this racetrack there. It just looks like just got into the bumper of Nealon and went around. I think at the end of the day, this is one of those products of being a tight little track and trying to use that bumper to get by.
Hard to come away with a clean race car on a 3/8 mile oval. These fans are enjoying a great race so far. 150 laps make up the entire distance. Mayhew continues to lead. Tonight's race is being run in honor of the late Bill Schmitt, 4-time K&N Pro Series West champion. His wife Sylvia getting the honors here tonight. Jack Sellers had problems early. Rich DeLong, some damage to his car, and most recently, we saw the 68 of Rod Nealon go around off the bumper of Thomas Martin. We'll see if that comes back into the picture later in the race. But for the leaders, Mayhew and Bickford, it's another chance to restart, and Bickford had a good restart last time. Can he hang on the outside again? Answer, no. Mayhew with a great jump.
Now, and Mayhew got a great jump off, too, there. It seemed like Bickford had a good start off the line into one, but Mayhew just really put the throttle down and drove away from them off, too.
Car turned well in the center of the corner, got the grip off, and he was gone.
Yeah, it looks like Brandon McReynolds here in the 16 has just been forced to the outside line. You got White behind him. It's probably going to be trying to slot in here. Got to be careful about that with Shepard on the inside on his left rear. He's getting a little bit loose. Ooh, almost 3 wide there at one point, it looked like. This is tight racing.
Meanwhile, Chris Eggleston in the 99 has jumped into third ahead of his teammate McReynolds. The 99 of Eggleston is coming.
Yeah, that's a good restart. Used the bottom line effectively, got on there, got under McReynolds, is moving forward, and maybe he can get to Bickford here.
Eggleston qualified 5th, and now moves up into the top 3.
Ooh, White just got under McReynolds again there. I think he even gave him a little bit of a bumper. He's really being aggressive here and trying to move forward. It's effectively into that top 5.
Johnny White started 9th, and now he's all the way up to 4th place. Heather DeBow has more on Johnny White.
That's right, guys. A lot of the drivers today have told me the biggest concern about this race is going to be passing, whether it's just for track position or lapped cars. But one guy who seems to be having no problem with that tonight is the number 31 Ronsmarin Chevrolet of Johnny White. He started 9th, and he's working his way up to 3rd right now. Now, one thing I found quite interesting is he told me his fellow competitors gave him the nickname of Chainsaw. I wonder why, guys.
This is a great battle between McReynolds and White here. He has had no problem moving forward, Heather, but this has been really interesting watching McReynolds fight back at Johnny White, and Johnny White just being able to use almost like a half a groove up line from McReynolds and use it effectively to drive away from him.
Chainsaw. What's the expectation when your nickname is Chainsaw?
I think that gives you a little bit of a hesitation to race around Johnny White. I think the aggression we saw from the restart goes in line with a nickname like Chainsaw.
He's a Kern County Raceway regular, making a full-time season out of the K&N West Pro Series this year. So we'll see if the rest of the competitors get to know Chainsaw as the season goes on. McReynolds now getting pressure from Buddy Shepard in that 55. That is the battle for 5th.
Yeah, Shepard there's hanging it out. He's a little bit loose off the corners. He's putting a lot of power down early, trying to get under McReynolds here. And it's looking like he's having some chances, but he's struggling to use that right rear effectively. He's probably, maybe wearing it out a little bit, getting it hot. He's going to need to take a step back and go back at McReynolds when he cools down that right rear.
Grayson Raz in the 27 follows behind. Points leader, the 7 of Noah Gregson, behind Raz.
Yeah, Gregson's been moving through the field nicely. He's been patient. I think he's watching these guys ahead of him racing really hard, wearing out their tires a little bit, and hopefully he's protecting his tires. He'll come through these guys towards the end.
Shepard, a Southern California kid coming up to the north, trying to make some noise here. We mentioned at the top of the show, that's a team for Jefferson Pitts Racing that Dustin Ash got his debut in the series at Tucson with, and Ash drove it to a 3rd-place finish.
Dave, one thing I'm seeing, McReynolds is running maybe a little bit higher line than Shepard there, and he's getting away from it. It's not like Shepard's being able to get up there and get under him. So it's 2 different lines we're seeing run. Shepard's a little higher here in 1 and 2. McReynolds a little higher in 3 and 4. It's really interesting to see this racetrack allowing 2 totally different lines and going about the same speed.
McReynolds, the winner at Iowa most recently. That was an east and west combo race, and Brandon was able to take it to victory lane that day in front of a lot of watching eyes. It was a great victory for him.
Yeah, really smart win. He rode second for most of the race, and really right at the end, he had a small chance to strike. He took it, made it work, and went on to the victory. And it was a very impressive win. See if he can have the same sort of night tonight, although it looks like he doesn't quite have the same race car he had earlier tonight. He's had a little bit of falling back, maybe just abused his race car in terms of the tires a little bit too much, and fallen into the clutches of Shepard here.
By the way, Buddy Shepard, 15 years old. You can run young here in the K&N Pro Series, and Buddy is just getting his start in racing and really showing well so far.
At 24, that makes me feel really old, Dave. I'm not sure what to say about that one. I think Brandon there, I was just at his 24th birthday, he might feel like he's got a little bit of young guys on his heels here, and he definitely does.
Well, and Shepard is a smart kid. He's watching the older drivers, and he's learning from them while having that youthful aggression.
Yeah, and having the chance to be in a full-bodied stock car at 15 years old means your development is going to be so quick by the time you have the chance to be in the top 3 NASCAR series. Oh, we have a little bit of smoke coming out of our leader here, Dave Mayhew.
Mayhew is the leader, but does he have a problem? That doesn't look good. He still has the point over James Bickford, but now heavy smoke pouring from the 17.
No, this isn't good at all. You do not want to see that, especially how easily he's been leading this race. I just think this does not bode well. Oh, and we've got a bit of a spin.
Caution is out as well. That's the 06 car of John Wood. And at the same time, the complexion of this race is changing. David Mayhew may have an issue in that 17 car. And as he goes down the backstretch, we'll see how long he stays out if he thinks it's something that's going to go away, but it looks bad.
Yeah, David, this is at the time where you are, as a driver and a team, yelling at each other, trying to go back and forth, saying what is going on, checking all your gauges, trying to see if you can foresee a problem. Maybe it's nothing big, but usually when you have that much smoke, it just, as I said before, is not boding well for the 17 to be able to continue this whole race.
So Mayhew taking the car to the bottom of the track right now doesn't look like he's putting down, or is he putting down a lot of fluid there in the 17? Remember, he's led every lap from the pole tonight, had a great qualifying run, and now it looks like he's going to the high side there, like he's going to take it to the garage, Parker.
Yeah, this is unfortunate to see, but they're doing the same thing we were. They're looking at the bottom of the race car on the track saying, is it leaking fluid? What's coming out of this thing? Is it just water? Did we puncture a radiator? Do we have an oil line here? And that's what they're trying to see, and they probably saw something that we didn't and said, hey, bring it in.
Wow, David Mayhew doing what you need to do on a short track, put himself in position to win by taking the pole, has led every lap so far, now in the garage area. Back at the Shasta Speedway, we have seen things change. David Mayhew was fastest in qualifying. He led the first 92 laps, but then he had to take his car to the garage, and he stands by with Heather.
All right, David, you're leading the race there. There was a wreck in front of you. You had a slam on the brakes. What happened? Did you blow a rear end on that one?
Yeah, we were blowing up there. The rear end gear was going out on us for about 20 laps there. I smelt it, and I was hoping it was the guys in front of us, and came on the radio there, said we were smoking, but this MMI Ronger and Poorhouse Chevy was awesome tonight. Corey, Craig, all the guys did awesome all day long, and just one of those things that happens. We'll come back next time, but definitely the dominant car, just unfortunate.
Tough break for our leader tonight for David Mayhew.
Unfortunate for David Mayhew. And actually in practice, I was talking to those guys, and they broke a motor mount on that turn 3 bump. So it's just been a tumultuous weekend for them, and with a lot of speed.
Bickford inside, Eggleston outside, and whoa, jumping way to the inside. Is that Gregson? He went very low in the 7 as we get restarted here at Shasta.
Yeah, I'm not sure NASCAR will like that one. You're just not allowed to get out of the 2 rows until you cross the start-finish line. He must give those spots back.
We'll see what happens as Bickford now jumps out to a good lead over Eggleston, and now McReynolds with a challenge to the outside for second.
Yeah, using the outside line, trying to get there into third. And to the outside of Eggleston, he's really using it effectively. Let's see if he's just right there.
Oh, contact!
Johnny White gets in his left rear, and that's the risk you run of being on the outside. Gets spun out of the top 5.
Carlos Vieira gets punted to the infield as well, but McReynolds brings out the caution in that 16. Tough break for him. He was running third.
He was bumped there by the chainsaw, Dave.
We talked about Johnny White's nickname, and perhaps McReynolds is now going to keep in his memory what they call Johnny White as he plows through the field. We'll get a look at that again as McReynolds was sent around.
Yeah, as we watch here, Johnny White, the chainsaw, as we said before, just getting in a little deep. I think, a little bit Brandon coming down as well. I think they just connected, both fighting for the same real estate. And really, I'm not going to put a fault on anyone there, actually. I think that's just hard racing, being on the outside, trying to maximize all the grip you can out there and force the guys on the bottom as low as you can to hopefully get the run off 4 to beat them.
McReynolds gets it right, and he'll have to rejoin at the back of the field. And we mentioned the 7 of Gregson, now hearing reports that he may be serving. Yes, he's been sent through the garage for a pass-through penalty from NASCAR for that pass down to the inside, Parker. You can't get away with that.
No, you've got to give those places back, and the caution came out so quickly, didn't have the chance, and therefore he's going to serve that penalty. So
Gregson, the championship leader, will have to go to the back of the field as well. Let's take a look and see if we can see again how he jumped the restart.
So you'll see here, he's coming to the green. He's going to jump the inside, almost making it 3 wide, it looks like, and you just cannot do that. What you have to do is stay 2 by 2 in your lines until you cross the start-finish line. NASCAR's adamant about that in drivers' meetings to make sure that the restarts are fair and you don't pull anything like that, getting unfair spots.
So Gregson to the back with a penalty, McReynolds to the back with a spin. We'll see how many spots they can make up as we get things going again here. Same positions on the restart. Bickford and Eggleston come back to the green.
Eggleston really squirrely there, just spinning those rear tires. Still able to have a good restart, though.
Getting away just a bit is Bickford. He will take that lead. Not quite. Eggleston still battling back on the outside.
Now he's holding tough out there. He's sticking on that right rear quarter panel. It's what you need to do to force Bickford into a little bit of mistake, maybe overdrive a little bit in the next corner and take that lead away.
Johnny White now runs in third. Grayson Raz up to 4th after starting 7th.
Yeah, and you've got Shepard there looking on the inside as well of Raz. Maybe about to...
Whoa, contact behind him. That's Thomas Martin. He is around. Martin has had contact with a couple of cars tonight. You see Rich DeLong is around as well. And caution on the speedway again. That's Justin Funkhauser in the 5. He's looking the wrong way.
Yeah, and Dave, what I found interesting here is we've had a couple spins now where they really haven't hit anything. These guys have been spun out and able to continue going and continue their race with very little damage. And I think that's it's an interesting fact about the wideness of this racetrack. They're not getting all the way to that outside wall.
Take a look here.
Ooh, just
Alex Schutty into the back of Thomas Martin.
Yeah, just coming in there, being a little bit more speed. The 11 didn't quite have the same speed and trying to use that front bumper to move him out of the way and just spun out.
He was on the outside of Ryan Partridge, teammate to the leader, James Bickford, and trying to get his way through, found the back end of Thomas Martin's car.
Yeah, it's been a little aggressive there for Schutty. I think, you sometimes need to give and take a little bit in that situation, but, he no harm, no foul in terms of hitting anyone. Everyone can continue going and continue the race.
Just a look at the beautiful Shasta Speedway here, 3/8 mile oval in Northern California. It's been a contact-filled night, but there's been some good racing, too. And that 99 of Chris Eggleston has sort of been peaking on the outside of Bickford. We haven't seen the second line come in entirely, Parker, but do you think he can get by him out there?
Well, he's been using it a lot. He's been predominantly being able to get to that right corner panel with Bickford, but not able to get fully beside him, force Bickford, squeeze him down on the inside, and maybe be able to get a better run off the corner to take the lead. But he's trying, and hopefully he can get it done.
He's not got a lot of time. 33 laps remaining here at Shasta. James Bickford will be the control car. He's supposed to start the race. Chris Eggleston will try to get as good a jump as he can to keep them side by side heading toward that all-important first turn. The Bill Schmitt Memorial 150 is winding down. James Bickford takes the green. And he's going to clear him off of 2 again.
Yeah, and you saw Eggleston really try to squeeze Bickford down, and that's what you do when you're outside. You squeeze and squeeze them down so they can't get back to the throttle without even running into you, and that's how you can... Oh, huge slide by the chainsaw there of Johnny White.
He got a little contact from Grayson Raz. Now White was pressuring the 99 of Eggleston, and then Raz looked like he might have gotten a little piece of Johnny White.
And that's as sideways as you want to get in one of these race cars without actually spinning out. Oh, as we've got a spinner there into turn 3, it looks like.
We'll see who that was as the field still stays under green. It's Nicole Bihar. Her car is around, and they have to bring caution out now. She stopped in the middle of the track there.
Oh, yeah, here comes the leaders. They had to get that out quickly. See if she can stay on the lead lap, maybe beat Bickford here. It doesn't look like she can.
We'll see if they may give her the benefit of the doubt there.
They might have given it to her there. That's good. And see the crowd going wild for that one. They like to see people standing.
Yeah, going wild for James Bickford, the Napa, California driver. So he is known around here, looking to see if he can get his first win. But he's got to keep Chris Eggleston behind him and Johnny White waiting in third. What'll happen in the final laps here at Shasta? Getting set for the restart here at the Shasta Speedway. Will it be the final one? And can Chris Eggleston in the 99 on the outside of James Bickford do anything? Parker, there's one option he hasn't used yet, and that's the bumper. We'll see what Eggleston does as he has a great restart on the outside of Bickford.
Yeah, even a little bit of contact there. This is really coming down the end. Holds tough on the outside there. Right on Bickford. Oh, a little bit more contact into each other's doors. And staying there on that outside.
They are rubbing each other for this victory. It's still side by side coming to the line.
This is what you want to see. Eggleston's squeezing Bickford the best that he can. Being able to use that outside line and just stay there on him. Keep having his spotter tell him that he is still on that outside will make Bickford overdrive.
Bickford now clears, and we're down to a 25-lap Saturday night shootout here at the Shasta Speedway.
Oh, and he gets on the inside with a little bit of touching there. It's tire smoke. Gets into his bumper again. This is a really aggressive, awesome race.
Guess I cleared him a little bit too early. Let's get back to the other option for Chris Eggleston. What's proper here as we get down to the end, Parker?
Well, proper is using that bumper to maybe unsettle that 6 car, but not to spin that 6 car is what you want to do. We want the bump and run, not the bump and wreck.
Eggleston already has a win under his belt this year. This would be win number 2 for him if he can get by. Bickford, the rookie, looking to break through in the K&N Pro Series as we see a great battle back in the back. That's Partridge into Shepard.
Yeah, Shepard is actually able to use that outside line there to get by Partridge. So, I mean, it's there for the taking.
Brett Thompson now to the inside of the 61. He comes really close to Thomas Martin as they battle for that 8th position.
That engine might be a little bit rich without how much fire's coming out of that exhaust right now, Dave.
Thompson continuing to fire through the Idaho driver, looking for another top 10 on his season.
He's got a lot of brake glow there, too. He's about to take care of those brakes here coming to the end.
Did you see Johnny White high off of turn 4 there? Man, he's driving that 31 car, trying to chase down these leaders.
He's looking for grip wherever he can find it. He's got to get up there and put himself into contention. If the chainsaw gets up there, we might see that front bumper used a little bit.
So White trying to chase down Eggleston and Bickford. 4th place is Grayson Raz. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to mount a charge. And there's our championship leader, Noah Gregson. Penalized, a pass-through penalty for restarting on the inside, jumping his line before the start-finish line. And Gregson trying to make some points back up before the end here, Parker.
Yeah, that race car doesn't look really under control at all there, Dave. It's just He looks like he's overdriving a little bit, maybe trying a little bit too hard to make up for that mistake. Needs to stay smart here. There's still a lot of time to go to get past these guys and get himself back into that top 10.
Nicole Behar in the 33, she went for a spin. She was racing with Luis Tyrell and Thomas Martin back in the pack. Not sure what happened back there, but she went around and had to restart near the rear.
Yeah, she's really putting a lot of pressure here on our championship leader of Noah Gragson. And that just tells me a little bit that Noah's, not totally happy and content with his race car here, having a car that just spun out, being able to get under him and maybe get the pass done.
Back up front, Bickford, Eggleston, the 6 and the 99. What will it come down to here? 134 of 150 complete. Will Johnny White see them make contact and see the seas part and look for his first victory?
Strike when the opportunity is right in front of him. I think what we're seeing there also is that difference in lines. Bickford's got that little bit higher exit out of 4. Eggleston's using that lower exit. It's just interesting to see these guys being able to use such different lines and able to run the same lap times.
15 to go. Has Eggleston saved anything? Has he been laying back just a little bit, saving his tires, his brakes for the final 10-lap run here?
And that's what I wonder, too. That's what I focus on in this series, especially at the front, is who has taken best care of their tires, their brakes, their race car overall. When you've taken care of those tires, what you did on lap 1 is what's going to make the difference come lap 150, and that's what's going to maybe make the difference between a winner or second place.
There's no question James Bickford has been one of the class of this field. David Mayhew had mechanical problems, led most of the early part, but Bickford was right there with him. Can he hold off Eggleston as we see this battle for 4th?
Yeah, you got Grayson Raz here. Just holding up this train a little bit, maybe. Shepard's maybe a little bit quicker there. Still loose there in that 55. We've seen that all night. He's been coming off the corners just a little bit sideways on that right rear, and he's still able to keep the speed up over a long run.
That might be the energy of a 15-year-old driving that 55. He is driving it for everything tonight in his first run in the K&N Pro Series West. Your leaders through 3 and 4, coming to 10 to go the next time by.
And Eggleston has really reeled in Bickford here. He's gotten right up to his rear bumper, using that little bit lower line, putting his left front there, almost on the apron a little bit. It looks like Bickford might be struggling, maybe just falling back to the clutches, abuse his race car, his tires a little bit too much. Eggleston's taking care of him. He's right there on the bumper.
And don't forget, Eggleston's home track is Colorado National Speedway. That's a 3/8 mile semi-flat oval. He knows how to get around that. Won there last year, and then won at the progressively banked Irwindale Speedway earlier this year. Does Eggleston have a move left as you look still at the 55 of Shepard?
Dave, you got to look at this 55. He is absolutely sideways off every corner. He's been doing this all race. Really impressive here with 8 to go. To be that sideways and able to keep up the speed. I've seen that right. Those front wheels turn right more than they've turned left in this race.
Ryan Partridge trying to find a way by. But here is the lead. We're down to 7 laps to go for James Bickford in the 6 car. Chris Eggleston right on his bumper.
Eggleston's got a little bit higher entry. He's getting a better run off the corner. He's right there in the rear bumper. What is the decision he's going to make? Is he going to be calm about this, use a little bit of the bump and run, or is he going to use the bump and wreck? Hopefully it's the bump and run.
Brake rotors glowing on these leaders. They've got lap traffic to get through. That will mix things up. Bickford makes it cleanly by. Eggleston does as well.
Yeah, that was impressive to be able to get by that lap traffic and stay right on the bumper of Bickford. This 99 car is looking really good as he gets into the left rear quarter panel and inside of Bickford they touch.
He's going to take the spot on the inside if he can. They bump and bang coming off of turn 2. Chris Eggleston has moved the 6 of James Bickford to the outside and takes the lead.
Great short track racing here. He bumped him, he rubbed him, and he got by cleanly in that sense. I think the 6 car right now is going to try and get to that rear bumper and maybe do the same if he can get there through this lap traffic.
Pay him right back. Carlos Vieira in the 51 is to their inside. A little bit of contact there with the leader.
Whoa!
That is very, very close.
That's what you don't want to do there. You don't want to get into the lappers and abuse your race car and get that left front tire punctured. Bickford's going around the 51 here, Vieira. Doing it well. He's got up to the 99, and they're really struggling in this traffic being forced to the outside.
Eggleston can see the checkered flag. 3 laps to go this time by.
I just really like what I'm seeing out of these two. Really aggressive racing, getting to the lappers well, and not getting apart. This is going to come down to the wire.
Chris Eggleston was patient. He started the race 5th. He watched David Mayhew lead most of the first half of the race. He trailed James Bickford for most of the second half of the race. And when he had his moment, He moved the leader out of the way and now sees victory if he can hang on for 2 more laps.
And that's what I love to see in this series, is someone that stays patient, they watch their opponent, and they take the opportunity and strike when it's presented in front of them, and that's what Eggleston has done here.
Look at Bickford drive that car, try to get it out. Carlos Vieira is around down the inside. The leaders have taken the white flag, and NASCAR looks like they're going to let him race back to the finish. Chris Eggleston is in turn 3. He comes off of 4. Chris Eggleston will win at Shasta Speedway.
A very impressive win by Eggleston. He did all the right things. He was patient. He took care of his race car, and he struck when the opportunity was presented in front of him.
What a great show. You know, these fans come to a fairgrounds raceway like Shasta Speedway on a regular basis to see a weekly show. There might be some bumping and banging, but for the K&N Pro Series to put on racing like this, a lot of side-by-side, very competitive. What a great race for Chris Eggleston and his second win of the 2015 season. We'll talk to our winner when we return. K&N Pro Series Racing on NBCSN is brought to you by K&N High Flow Air Filters and Air Intake Systems, because everyone loves that fast car smell. Parker, how do you caption that picture?
It's the view of defeat, Dave. I think he can be proud, though, of the race he ran. Bickford, he led a lot of laps, ran up front the entire time, took care of his race car well.
You can see him thinking about it as Chris Eggleston has made his way to victory lane and begins a celebration for his second win of the season. Heather DeBow is down there somewhere for the winner's interview. Heather?
Chris Eggleston, if I can make my way through this team here, they're so excited to see you win. Second win of the season. Great job out there. A lot of drivers were talking about the hardest thing tonight was going to be passing people. What did you think about that?
I mean, the track was it was pretty racy. I didn't expect it to be that racy. We started to get aggressive there on the top side, try to make some room, try to make some positions there at the end. I thought I wore my stuff out at the end. The 6 cars started gapping us there, and I thought we were going to settle for second. And I have Eric Holmes on the radio just kind of cheering me on and just telling me to keep digging, keep it straight. We were way better on the long runs than we were in the short runs. And we just had enough just to get around the 6. Man, what a great win for the Snap Filters Toyota team, Bill McAnally Racing, all these guys. These guys worked so hard. We actually had a different car planned, practice. We were going to race. We ended up breaking out the backup car, and the backup car is just as good, if not better. Just want to thank all the fans out here at Shasta Speedway. First time here in, I don't know, like 22 years. What a great turnout. I love to see all the fans, Goodyear, K&N, NBCSN, for allowing us to do this on TV, and just so happy to be here.
Congratulations again to Chris Eggleston with his second win of the season.
Thanks, Heather. And Chris is right about the fans. They saw a great show, Parker.
They absolutely did. It was a massive crowd, as he said. I think it was a great turnout.
Chris Eggleston, the winner. James Bickford in second. Alex Shuddy, the local boy, fell to 9th after starting 6th.
You got Nicole, who came back from that spin to finish 10th.
The rest of the field, Noah Gregson, the championship leader, down in 16th. He didn't even finish the race. Was on pit road fixing a flat tire when the checkered flag fell. So that's big news. We'll take a look at the points in a moment. Meanwhile, Heather DeBow has caught up with second place Bickford.
Another second place finish here for James Bickford. James, I see a little bit of a disappointment in your face. You were battling with the 99. You came up on some lap traffic. What happened out there?
We had a really great car. We were right behind David. We were in a really good position, an even better position when David pulled off, and we were put in the lead. And, I've been telling everybody that being the leader is king in this series, and especially at this track, being able to control the race and be able to set the tempo for yourself. And I thought that was really going to play into our favor, and we'd be sitting in victory lane instead of Chris. But shout out to Chris. He ran a great race. It's a great day for the Interstate Plastic Sunrise Ford guys, and it's always great to sit in second place and be disappointed with it. That means our team's really coming far, and it's going to go a long ways in the championship hunt.
That's James Bickford with his second top 5 this season.
Very mature interview there by James Bickford. A very mature race that he ran. He definitely controlled the race, had good restarts, took care of his race car, and was right in the right position at the end, just didn't go his way. It definitely will next time.
We mentioned the problems for Gregson. He falls to 3rd in the points after coming in the leader. Heather?
Here with Johnny White, only his 5th start, best finish so far of 3rd. Johnny, your nickname's Chainsaw. I think we figured out why you were pretty aggressive out there when it came to passing. Talk about your run tonight.
Yeah, short track like this, you can't be afraid to use a front bumper on these kids. If you don't use that bumper on them, you're not going to pass nobody. And starting 9th tonight, that was my only option. And, I'm a little out of shape. These kids, these kids are 16, 17, I'm 30. I've been at this a long time, and that's where experience pays off right here on these little tracks. But I can't say enough about this racetrack. This is the funnest race I've had right here for sure.
Well, congratulations. Great run tonight.
Not sure if we had used the bumper. We saw a lot of passes without the bumper tonight, Dave.
Johnny White had a good time, and they will remember now the chainsaw. Great finish for him here at Shasta. Well, our next Touring Series race, that will be at the Thompson Speedway for the Whelen Modified Tour. That's in Thompson, Connecticut, Thursday, June 18th. You can see it right here on NBCSN at 6 p.m. Eastern. Tonight's race was run in honor of a 4-time champion in the West Series, and these drivers didn't disappoint. David Mayhew had the pole for the night and led a majority of the race. A lot of contact out here tonight, a few spins, but these drivers kept it under control. As we got toward the end, it was a nudge by the 99 of Chris Eggleston that gave him the inside line, and he wins over James Bickford, his second victory on the 2015 season. For Parker Kligerman and Heather DeBoe, I'm Dave Burns saying thanks for watching. Congratulations to Chris Eggleston. See you next time.